This is the True Believers Bible Study with Ray McCollum. Let's figure things out.
Welcome back to the True Believers Bible Study, where we're considering the war between two seeds, prophesied by God himself in his judgment upon the serpent in Genesis 3:15, where God said the seed of the woman would crush the head of the seed of the serpent. And we see the warfare between the two seeds that goes on throughout human history and even to this very day. Now, I want to do a jump forward from Genesis 3 to once we know that principle of the seed established by God in the creation, that he puts the seed within everything that he wants reproduced or that will be reproduced. The seed of the plants, God said, I put the seed within itself, meaning the ability to reproduce is within the thing itself. When he made the animals, the same thing. He placed the seed within each animal's kind to reproduce after its kind. And so with man, he put the seed in the man, and the man had the ability to reproduce after his kind. And so spiritually speaking, when Adam and Eve fell, when they believed the seed of the word of the serpent above the seed of the word of God, they received the seed of the serpent and they fell into sin. And after that, when they brought forth children, they reproduced after their kind. And this was the dilemma of God. How do I get that seed into the earth? And of course, it was ultimately fulfilled in Jesus Christ, in the incarnation. But we see seeds of it in Genesis. And today I'm going to look at the calling of Abraham, who is our spiritual father, according to the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans. He calls Abraham the father of all them that believe. And that's the clue we need to look for back in Abraham's story, which begins in Genesis 12, verse 1. And the Lord appeared to Abram and said, unto thy seed I will give this land. So, I'm sorry, that's verse 7. So in God's first encounter, his first calling of the patriarch Abraham, God refers to the seed of Abraham. God is saying, I will give the land. I'm promising the land not only to you, but to your seed. And Abraham says, behold, to me you have given no seed. In other words, he was childless. So God is speaking to him, I'm going to give the land to you and your seed. Now, the man is 75 years old. And it's almost like the Virgin Mary, when the angel appeared and said she would have a child. She said, how is it I can have a child? I've not known a man. How can I conceive without a seed? And here God spiritually speaks of Abraham's descendants as his seed, and Abraham has no children. So he says, behold, you have given me no seed, and lo, no one has been born in my house to be my heir. And behold, the word of the Lord came to him, saying, this shall not be thine heir, but he that shall come forth out of thy own bowels shall be thine heir. That's in Genesis 13. It's talking about Ishmael. And Abraham said, you've given me no seed. And God said, and he brought forth, let's see. Oh, okay. Go over to Genesis 15. And the Lord brought Abram forth and said to him, "Look now toward the heavens and tell the stars, if you're able to number them." And God said to Abram, "So shall thy seed be." And so what he's saying is, look up at the heavens, and if you can count the stars, that's how many descendants that will come of you. That's the extent of your seed. And in Genesis 22, after the episode of the sacrifice of Isaac, God adds a detail. He says, "And the angel of the Lord appeared to Abraham and the second time and said, By myself I have sworn. For because you have done this thing and not withheld your son, your only son, I will bless you. And in multiplying, I will multiply your seed as the stars of heaven and as the sand which is upon the seashore. And your seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed, because you have obeyed my voice." So we have here the seed of Abraham depicted or symbolized, God says, by the stars in the heaven and the sands on the seashore. Now, I will get into this more next time, but I believe this is a clear reference to the seed of Abraham, earthly seed, natural, physical, biological seed, which speaks of the sands of the seashore, and I believe the spiritual seed, which is described as the stars in the heaven. And as we know, history is borne out that Abraham had a multitude of generations that were born after the flesh, and he also has had a multitude who are born again after the Spirit. And that is this prophecy of what's really going on here in God's promise to Abraham and his seed, beginning right here in the early chapters of Genesis. We'll be back with more next time. Until then, please like us, share us, help us get this word out. We would be so appreciated. It would be so appreciated, and we'd be so grateful for your support. God bless you. We'll see you next time.
True Believers Bible Study is made possible by people just like you. To make a donation, please visit truebelieversbiblestudy.com.